Today I'm cleaning before company arrives, and I really hope I get it clean before they get here. The grocery person will be bringing our groceries from Walmart. Stay tuned to the end if you would like to see the baby bump. I hope you find this motivating, clean-spirational. Love you guys, and let's get started. Hello everyone, I hope you are well, and I just thought I would do a little voiceover of some scriptures to help motivate you all. And I am just happy to know that there is really not a lot of scripture about cleaning in the Bible. Not that we shouldn't be clean, our God is a God of order, but actually there is quite a bit of scripture about not making it an idol. And I will start in Luke chapter 10 verses 38 and following. And this is about Mary and Martha. Now as they traveled along, he entered into a certain village, and a certain woman named Martha welcomed him. And she had a sister named Mary, who also sat at the feet of Jesus and was listening to his teaching. But Martha was distracted with much preparation, so she approached and said, "Lord, is it not a concern to you that my sister has left me alone to make preparations? Then tell her that she should help me." But the Lord answered and said to her, "Martha, Martha, you are anxious and troubled about many things, but few things are necessary, or only one thing. For Mary has chosen the better part, which will not be taken from her." The next verse comes from Proverbs 14:4. When there are no oxen, the manger is empty, but an abundance of crops comes by the strength of an ox. So it's very important to remember that our homes and our places of work get dirty, and then we have to clean them, and then they get dirty again. If it stays clean all the time, there is probably nothing abundant happening, no new life, no prosperity moving forward. So that is very encouraging to remember, that if your house gets dirty, that's probably because you are using it to the fullest. And then, of course, a wonderful passage that I'm loving to meditate on is from Proverbs 31:10 and following. A woman of excellence who will find, for her worth is far more precious than jewels. The heart of her husband trusts in her, and he will have no lack of gain. She does him good, but not harm, all the days of her life. She seeks wool and flax, and she works with the diligence of her hands. She is like the ships of a merchant. From far off she brings her food, and she arises while it is still night and gives food to her household and tasks to her servant girls. She considers a field and buys it. From the fruit of her hand she plants a vineyard. She girds her waist in strength and makes her arms strong. She perceives that her merchandise is good. Her lamp does not go out in the night. Her hands she puts onto the distaff, and her palms hold a spindle. Her palms she opens to the poor, and her hand she reaches out to the needy. She does not fear for her house when it snows, for her entire household is clothed in crimson. She makes for herself coverings. Her clothing is fine linen and purple. Her husband is known at the gates, and his seat among the elders of the land. Linen garments she makes and sells, and she supplies sashes for the merchants. Strength and dignity are her clothing, and she laughs at the future. She opens her mouth with wisdom, and instruction of kindness is upon her tongue. She looks after the ways of her household, and the bread of idleness she will not eat. Her children rise up and consider her happy. Her husband also, and he praises her. Many have done excellence, but you surpass all of them. Charm is deceit, and beauty is vain, but a woman who fears Yahweh will be praised. Give to her from the fruit of her hand, and may they praise her works in the city gates. We can hear from that passage that the wife or woman in the Bible was not necessarily all about just homemaking. cooking and cleaning, although those are very important priorities for the wife to be sure, she was also entrepreneurial and very much involved in her community, in charity work, that type of thing. And another verse, Matthew 27:55, leads some support to that. And there were many women there observing from a distance who had followed Jesus from Galilee, serving him. So there were these entrepreneurial women, maybe they sold their garments, things that they made, who followed Jesus and served him, ministered to his needs monetarily, and that is found also in the story of Dorcas from Acts chapter 9, starting in verse 36. Now in Joppa, there was a certain female disciple named Tabitha, which translated means Dorcas. She was full of good deeds and charitable giving, which she was constantly doing. Now it happened in those days, after becoming sick, she died. And after washing her, they placed her in an upstairs room. And because Lydda was near Joppa, the disciples, when they heard Peter was in Lydda, sent 2 men to him, urging, "Do not delay to come to us." So Peter got up and accompanied them. When he arrived, they brought him up to the upstairs room, and all the widows came to him, weeping and showing him tunics and other clothing that Dorcas used to make while she was with them. But Peter sent them all outside, and falling to his knees, he prayed, and turning toward the body, he said, "Tabitha, get up." And she opened her eyes, and when she saw Peter, she sat up. As you can see from that passage, Tabitha, or Dorcas, was very charitable, always giving constantly, doing good deeds. She was a disciple and had cultivated the skill of making quality items that they were showing off after she had passed away. And those were probably entrepreneurial endeavors, as most biblical women were wont to do. And one of my favorite things about Proverbs 31, woman, is that word excellence is actually better translated to be valor. And the biblical definition of valor is exceeding skill in regards to wealth or war. And we know that these women probably didn't have exceeding skill when it comes to war, so that would lead us to believe in regards to wealth and contributing to the family. I promised you a really good baby bump shot, so here it is, and I hope you'll like and subscribe, and see you next time. Until next time, remember, you are good, you are precious, grace, and peace.